Good evening.
I'm trying to find it.
We have back feedback.
Everybody has a mute.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
It's J.
Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 as amended on March 28, 2025. This meeting will be conducted in person and as a courtesy via remote means in accordance with applicable law. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and or participation is being provided, the meeting hearing will not be suspended or terminated if there are tech problems unless required by law. Viewers can visit the local scene.media/Duxbury, formerly pac-tv, to watch a video replay of this meeting on Duxbury YouTube. Thank you, thank you. We do have some minutes. No, we don't. Okay, great. Good to know. Any announcements? No? All right. Why don't we start our budget discussion? And Mike, if we could ask your indulgence, Jim has another meeting he has to get to, so if you don't mind, he's going to go first and he promises to be brief.
Anything for Jim.
No, she yielded the floor to Jim. Nancy yielded the floor to Jim. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, James, go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, I'll introduce myself in case someone out there doesn't know who I am. I'm Jim Wazalewski. I'm the Billing Commissioner and Director of Municipal Services for the town of Duxbury. Read that.
Nope, I know.
I got it in a bigger.
I'm handing out, I'm handing out Jim's line items. The problem is I meant to print it on really big paper and I didn't, so I apologize. If you can use it, it's great. If not, then it's online. Thank you.
Actually, no, that's-
Thank you. Just a brief overview of the department. We handle all the building permits, inspections. We help process the alcohol licensing and food permits. We also have the Board of Health under our department, and we also process the shellfish permits that we issue. Currently, we have 6 full-time employees, 6 part-time employees. We did have 7, and one of those were ripped last year. For those that don't know, it was a reduction in force. I have 4 alternate inspectors that back up our other part-time inspectors for plumbing and electrical. And they're just on call as needed. We consist of the Director of Municipal Services, myself, a full-time health agent that I'm joined here this evening by Lauren Hache. It's her first one of these she's attending.
She's psyched.
She's
She
doing an
told me
excellent
earlier
job.
She was excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad she's here. I have a full-time office manager. I have and 2 administrative supports for the department that process basically an awful lot of paperwork and the zoning board of appeals legal documents that we have to do.
What was the position that was ripped?
That was the administrative assistant for the Board of Health agent.
Didn't the administrator for the Board of Health, wasn't that a position, didn't they support other groups within your office or other offices? Or is it
That,
to a certain extent?
yeah.
Yeah.
There were a
But these
lot-
things intertwine.
They do intertwine. We kind of cross train so we can support each other. You get people that's on vacation, I'm sick, whatever. So we try to keep everyone in tune with what goes on.
In proximity helps.
Yeah,
You're all in the same building.
Okay,
We're
sorry.
all in the same area, same building.
Yeah.
And I have a full-time building inspector. On the part-time side, that was the Board of Health admin that we just spoke about. That was the reduction in force. I have a part-time building inspector, electrical inspector, and plumbing inspector. A public health nurse, the keeper of animals inspector that does our animal inspections and deals with animals and rabies and things like that. I have the sealer of weights and measures in my department. So I don't have a lot of changes in my budget except for a total reduction of about $29,610.53. Set change, I think we switched one, or $300 difference. And Most of that was due for a couple of reasons. One, we had the reduction in force for the part-time person.
Mhm.
And also we have a new health agent that comes in at an entry level in the position.
Mhm.
And also with that, the mileage stipend dropped because we had one person that received the mileage stipend for their personal vehicle. So those are the big changes that I have. Besides that, there is not a whole lot in my 5A budget. Would you like me to read down each line item?
No, God, no. As far as the training and education goes, I mean, since when there's new people, and I know that you did a lot of studying to get up to what you needed for the licenses for your position, so this may be redundant. But training, professional development, I mean, you have a department where everybody is constantly at the mercy of changing laws from the state level and as well as local, so
That's
do you
correct.
have funds that you can keep up with that? I can see the number, but,
Yes, I kind of look at the track record that's gone on in the past and I feel comfortable with what I presented.
I've been asking everybody that because a lot of people were taking that as a place they could save, and I think it's the worst place to save.
It is, well, we're statutorily required to maintain our certificates
Yeah.
and continuing education, and there's conferences that we have to attend. And organizations that we need to belong to, which gives us access to all that educational experience.
Okay.
And your 2025 actuals are on trend with your number.
Yeah,
Okay. So nothing much has changed. What's it looking like for new builds? Everywhere I look, there's new houses going up.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening, really. We've got a bunch of 40Bs that are underway and happening. We have a lot of pretty large houses that are being,
Keene Street, those houses, those neighborhood up there is, those are significant properties.
yeah, those are nice properties. That's a really good development.
Yeah.
We've got a couple other smaller subdivisions that are being created and underway for future.
Uh-huh.
Which is kind of nice to see some of those built out for us.
And how many 40Bs do we have going?
4
Four currently started?
underway. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's right. Think about that. Yeah.
I met with Jim earlier and quite a bit of our conversation circled around the impact of that part-time cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want this budget to get it, because he's in a hurry to go to another
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah,
The short circuit the conversation regarding the impact on his team with that loss, albeit part-time. And because of other movements within the department where one person was promoted to another slot, their previous position was also someone who covered a vast variety of departments within his realm. And so that person was sort of lost to that game as well. And they are struggling a bit to keep up, and the backlog and many of the applications is getting longer and longer. It's taking them longer to get to things. And I didn't realize this, but Jim himself is on call 24/7. And I'd like you to explain a little bit why the Special Services Department is on call 24/7.
Sure, thank you. So I'm on call 24/7 to respond to emergencies. And what kind of emergencies are those? We have a storm. You know, wires get torn off a person's house, they're left without electricity. We have a fire, we have a car that drives through a building, post office, things like that. And so we assist the first responders in coming out and help the people basically help them mediate all the challenges that they have, because they're typically usually in some bit of a shock. And so I'm there kind of as a liaison and give them direction on what happens. And then I also have to assess that with the input from the fire department and make a decision whether or not the person can maintain or live in the house, or they have to leave or find other shelter. So, you know, every storm, every weekend, 24/7, I'm answering phone calls to the fire department. They call me up quite a bit to respond to. My health agent is similar because she's reachable 24/7 in the same way. Little different scenario for the response things she has to go through, but there has been some that we had to deal with a few houses that had to be condemned and, you know, things like that. So that keeps me really busy. And I have a good full-time inspector that has been with me for about 4 years now. So he's my backup, like if I go on vacation or something like that. So that's been helpful for that. just to touch base, I don't know if I was gonna present the 5B budget
Yeah, you are.
separately. Okay, I am.
Yeah, we want to talk about the 5B budget.
Yeah,
Okay. So the 5A budget's pretty simple. It really hasn't changed a whole lot.
there's not much latitude to change.
Right, exactly.
Right.
We were kind of maintaining. So do I get into the 5B?
Yes, please.
Yes,
All right.
do.
So in the 5B budget, this is where, I would like to replace that person that was with. It's created a lot of challenges and, you know, the town, I have to just speak because the only reason I think that we're surviving as well as we are right now, which is still a challenge, is because of this wonderful person sitting next to me, Lauren, because she's working nights and weekends and she's doing data entry, she's processing permits at home, things like that to try and stay ahead of it. She's doing the position, grasping the position and really taking it in full force. I have another person that is an administrative assistant for the town that's full-time, that is also a part-time ZBA, well, not part-time, but part of her position is to support the zoning board of appeals, which are very vast differences. There's a lot of legal things that they have to process and a lot of stuff that take a lot of detail. So that's been a position and that person's new in our department. And it's a large learning curve and they're both pretty overwhelmed. And, I've got a list. I know I want to be quick here, but I gotta just stress the importance of this. You know, there's a lot of key impacts that we've been dealing with. The process, and I'm just gonna kind of rifle these through bullet point wise, as quick as I can. And these were some of the key points and responsibilities for the position that was eliminated. So they process all the permits and licenses and applications for the Board of Health. Answer phone calls, respond to public inquiries. They assist walk-in customers that come into town hall. Just to speak one thing about that real quick, it's great on Fridays that we're closed to the public because it does allow us administratively to process a lot of work. But we still, in our department, have to answer phones because we deal a lot with inspections and we're required to respond to those by law, so. It's not a total shutdown for our department, it just stops the walk-ins right now. And we're trying to do our best to process everything as well as we can. They also process payments and prepare the weekly deposits, this part-time role is doing. Establishing and managing the escrow accounts and processing vendors' invoices, entering septic pumping records, which we are not caught up to date, and that is something that's required by Title V. We get pumping records and that's what Lauren is doing on nights and weekends while she should be home with her kids. And enjoying that experience because we know how fleeting that is. And I'm really grateful for her ethic. I mean, it's something that, the thing that concerns me the most about where this is headed, if this position isn't replaced, is how am I gonna maintain the staff that I have? Because I'm really concerned about burnout. And it's a real thing. We're all trying hard. We're all trying to do the best we can. And I'm grateful that I've got a team that really does care about their positions and what they, do for the town. They take a lot of pride in their work. So that's a big concern for me. And trying to maintain everyone's health and well-being is really important. So, so these are some of the consequences. I'm gonna just try and bulletproof through these as quick as I can. Since the elimination of the position, we've had delayed processing of permits and renewals. There's a slower turnaround for public health permits. Delayed response in public and legal requests that we have to deal with. Reduced office coverage for walk-ins and phone calls. Some of them may go unanswered because we don't have the staff there to be able to process and handle all that. We have administrative bottlenecks with payments and deposits and records that get delayed because you just can't get everything done with that extra person for that type of work. There's added burden on my health agent sitting here. That's a big concern because she's a phenomenal person and works really hard and really worked hard to get into this position and get certified, and I do not want to lose her. She needs the support because right now what's happening is she's so bogged down with the administrative tasks that she can't go out and do the health inspections that need to be done on restaurants and establishments and keep up to those statutory requirements. She's kind of doing a lot of double duty stuff, right? there's a risk as far as that, to legal aspects around that, because we're statutorily required to do inspections in a time frame. I don't need to get into every one, someone really wants to dive that deep. So those are some of the challenges that we have going on right now in the department. I would love to see the position, restored. We're not asking for a lot. I'm asking for a part-time position at 19 and a half hours. Which totals $28,500 for the year. That position would be a non-benefited position. So that's kind of helpful for the town as well. That's where I am on the shortfall with what we're dealing with health in the department.
And before I even say this, I know the answer. But somebody will say, well, why don't you use the seniors that can do the tax, real estate tax write-off? And, just so that you're prepared. And I know that a lot of what you're doing is right by statute, it's legal, and you can't.
There's
Yeah.
some things we can't, but we do actually take advantage of that. Lawrence,
That's the best answer.
yeah, Lawrence applied for one. We have another one that has been coming in for the last 3 years, which helps us with a lot of filing and things like that. So we do take advantage of that, because it's a great opportunity for them and for us to get some help, but there's a lot of stuff they can't dive into. They
Right.
can do surface things, which is nice, but not some of the deep legal stuff that needs the training and diligence.
I think that the key word would be the things that could be litigated.
Yes, yeah,
Wasn't a follow-up too that is important, right?
yeah,
With your staff,
yeah.
being able to do the follow-up.
Most of the record keeping and everything we do is for posturing, right? Is to make sure that we've done everything that we have to do, and if someone challenges it, that we've got all that posturing so we can support and protect the town and the people of the town.
Right. JR, please.
Oh, Mary and Jim. Income. For the building department,
Ooh, good one.
and I've got it here, I'm not sure what line, if we look at your handout.
Yep, it should be somewhere around 17, line 17, A.
Town, are you talking the revenue that we
What's the
generate in the
revenue that you
department?
collect? Yeah.
About 1.1 million in fees last year.
So what, 1.1
1.1 million in fees, yeah, that we collected across the board, both for the health and the building department.
and your costs?
Costs,
Right here, 688
$688.
or six, what is
Yeah.
it? I don't have my
686.
glasses, 686.
686,208.
Sorry,
Yeah.
even I'm struggling with the print.
What's interesting about that cost, and I always think about this, you think there's a lot of, like, hey, we've made a lot of money in the department. But what's not ever reflected in these budgets are, the labor burden for all the people, the building that in which we are, everything that goes into what supports us.
But-
It's just the bare bones.
Sorry, I don't mean to interject,
That's okay.
but you also have to remember that revenue is volatile. That is not a consistent stream, and we've taken a look, I don't know if it's in
Right.
that hand, it actually is in that handout. Where you can see that, there are some years where the fees generated by building permits is about 400,000. Last year, it happened to be about 900,000, but it ebbs and flows. And so when we're talking about revenues to fund our budget, we need to make sure that that we budget at a level that is consistent to make sure that we have the funding available to cover our expenses, right?
Our department is very cyclical based on the nature of the economy and building.
I have one quick question. Go ahead, Jim. So in your salaries, you actually went down, like,
Because he lost that position.
that's the one that he's trying to replace?
So we have,
Correct.
yes, yeah.
So in other words, so if that person comes back, you're still
He's
have.
got 30
that-
grand.
Yeah.
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 Just so Mark's trying to raise your hand over.
No, I think that's Linda's mouse.
Oh. Oh, sorry.
Gotcha.
Mark, did you have a question?
Yeah.
Mark, okay, good. All right,
And then, the only other line item that I'm proposing is that. I talked about this last year when I did my budget, and this has to do with the mileage stipend. And I put this in my 5B budget because I think it's really important to understand. What the mileage stipend is, right? So, essentially my full-time people get a mileage stipend, and then it's broken down based on the number of hours of work for my other staff, part-time staff, inspectors, et cetera. My understanding in my research is that budget for a full-time person has been $300 a month since 2010. And what happened was, it's also a tax stipend. So when we go to pump gas and put it in the cars of the people that have that, they're not getting that on a pre-tax basis, right? So I kind of took a look at it. I actually tracked this at the point when I was an inspector that my average full-time inspector does about 30 to 35 miles a day, right? So I analyzed it and I broke it down over a year based on the federal rate, which I think is 70 cents now. And I took out for vacations and holidays because they're not driving on that time. And I calculated out that in order to get them more in line with what the federal budget is for all of my staff that gets the stipend, it's about $2,430 of an increase in the 5B budget. I think it's reasonable. I mean, the cost to insure a car, 2010 to today, to buy a car, to maintain a car, to put gas in it, or, I don't have to go through it all, but essentially, I kind of analyzed this very deeply and said, I gotta make this equitable, because I do hear feedback like, hey, my car's, it's short trip driving for a vehicle, which is what inspectors are doing, is pretty tough on a vehicle. So it's a small increment. And hopefully we're successful with the 5B budget. People understand the importance of that. The other option is I would have loved to have a fleet of vehicles for my staff, because I think it's really, really more professional, but I don't think that's.
That would be in C.
Yeah, we got shirts. We got uniforms and clothing going on, so we're getting there.
Look at that lovely rugby, I mean, that zip, the 3/4 zip, that was extra.
Just, because Lauren is amazing like this, she bought the shirt herself and had it embroidered, and we reimbursed her for.
Oh, shut up.
for
Yeah.
Because we didn't have the money in the budget last year when she came in, so.
And that's unfair because,
It is unfair.
we are expecting employees to work on behalf of the community and especially employees who interface with the public on a regular basis. You need to be, for your own safety,
Yeah,
Right.
easily recognizable.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that we have got sufficient funding for marking your vehicle and declaring who you are and the
Identify.
uniforms and identification cards and everything else that is required to be out there working in the public in a safe manner.
and it's not just you, because I had the same conversation with Jake. And didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And we looked at him and said, is this a safety issue?
Oh, yeah,
You can't approach a member of the public in today's society
right.
and not have them understand that you have a right to be there, and that if they are going to be difficult, that there is backup.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you absolutely need to.
I've run into that a couple of times because I have my part-time inspectors has only been with me about a year, and we didn't have money in the budget to buy uniforms last year.
Right, I remember. Yeah.
So he's pulling up and like, who's this guy pulling up in the big
Right.
truck telling me what to
Right.
do? So
Yeah.
Right.
that's not good.
No, it isn't good. It's a
Now Mark
safety
has
issue.
his
Now
hand
Mark
up.
has-
Oh, Mark. Hey, yeah, Mark, go ahead.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Nope, you're
Yeah, no, I can't hear you. Do you have I think, are you muted?
No, it's not.
S.
How on?
Is it?
It might be the volume on the TV.
No, it's here.
Is it?
Yeah.
Put your question in the chat, Mark.
Wait a minute, we've got IT here tonight, Mark. This is good.
Yeah.
This is
I
promising.
have no, it
We
could be
don't have
any,
the budget to deal with it.
Nope, that's on.
it could be any of 12 different volume buttons, I don't know.
I'm just.
Hey, you're not
He's got the.
jacket for you.
No,
How about now, Mark?
Is the owl muted?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Oh, I've had trouble all week with my system here.
Well,
Jim,
IT is,
like on the mileage stipend, I think you gave the most articulate justification of what's needed. A question for Mary, like, is mileage stipend a standard across all town departments? Because we've certainly seen other departments request $500 a month per vehicle, et cetera. Jim is requesting $300, and he's clearly done plenty of research of what is the right reimbursement amount. So just a broad question, when stipends across the whole town hall? Like, it seems like it's all over the place. Is there a standard and, you know, is it kind of how we ever figure it?
Yeah, so generally speaking, more than 90% of the people who receive the mileage stipend are receiving $300 per month. There are a couple who travel but don't travel as frequently as, say, the department head, so some are at $150 a month. But the volume of activity that the Inspectional Services Division does, and the assessing division as well, they're in their car all the time because they have to go out to visit locations. And so they put the greatest amount of stress and strain on their personal vehicles because we don't have a fleet of cars to be used for those purposes. So
Totally
generally,
imagine that Jim's department is the biggest use, you know, heavy wear and tear, the most, the greatest justification for that expense. I was just curious how it worked across. Thank you.
I think Mark, I think it is your computer, actually. I think you're probably having some trouble with the audio on your computer. Because you're cutting in and out. Okay,
So
Um,
to just to
Yep.
go over the mileage stipend, what that equated to was for a full-time person, that's at 300 now. When I did the math, it came out to exactly 411, and I just am proposing that goes to 400. My part-time person that's at 19 and a half hours, they currently get $146.25 a month. I'm proposing that goes to 195. And this was all done based mathematically per hours. And then my 18-hour personnel, they're at 135, and that would go to 180. So
Based on
it,
the 70 cents.
based on the
IRS
70
miles.
cents on the average miles, yeah.
okay, cool. All right,
So that's it. And if I can just allow and ask,
sure.
if Lauren is willing to do so, I would like her to talk about some of the challenges that she's dealing with right now in the department with the lack of the administrative support. What's that?
VA walked out of town.
Oh, I got it. I'll get it.
It's always something.
I know.
never end. Never end. She's gotta jump in her personal vehicle and get back.
So. A lot happened when COVID came along. And so there's just a backlog of things to catch up on, including minutes and pumping records. And then we lost, the RIF left earlier than we had thought, so they left in May. And then the agent retired, so it was just me for a little while. So trying to get all of that done, has been a little daunting. I'm a perfectionist and I don't like to have delays for permitting. I know that there's stipulations legally with that, so I'm not letting that happen, but it gets a little overwhelming, to get everything done. And for me, I'm someone that should be in the field. I should be doing restaurant inspections. I should be doing all of that. And so it kind of takes over my day when I have to handle all of the administrative things and all of that. So it's been rough. But,
And you've been talking about what your family life's like and how much work you've been doing at home.
Well, we don't, you know,
It's crazy.
I understand, but I don't want to put her in an
She's
awkward.
also training in person too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cutting into your personal life. I
Yeah.
don't, I'm trying to be respectful of the
Yeah,
fact that,
I
you know.
can, yeah, understood.
And along with the job too, I don't know if you saw downstairs, MRC is meeting, that's the medical reserve corps. I'm
Mhm.
also the unit coordinator for that now.
Yeah.
So that's not a ton of work, but there's some grant and state requirements there. We have the Public Health Excellence Grant Collaborative, which has been phenomenal with 5 other towns, so we do have that cross jurisdictional help there, but like I said, I wanna be the person that's doing our inspections, I don't wanna rely, and that's only funded through FY 27, we don't know what's gonna happen in the future, so. It would just be a great help to have a dedicated full-time Board of Health admin, because it's never slow. There's always, you know, this town is a 100% private septic, so there is constant. Septic work, issues, permitting, inspections, there's been a lot of housing issues lately. So it would just be, helpful to have that support.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I think it's beyond health plan. It sounds as though it's necessary.
100%.
Okay, great, thank you. Mrs. O'Connor.
Oh, yes. Second, it's done. No, that's fine. I know, it's not, I'm never gonna live
Thank
it down.
Any other questions? Good?
No, thank you, guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Go home with your family.
Thanks. I'm off the down.
I do think it's, if the Clipper is listening to this,
That Matt will issue a correction.
yes, yes, her name is O'Connor.
Yes, to the benefit of everybody at home.
Mrs. O'Connell didn't quit.
Yeah, no. Yes, to everybody at home and if the
Everybody.
Clippers listening, I'm Nancy O'Connor. Whoops, wait for me to speak.
Thank you, O'Connor. Still Nancy O'Connor.
Still Nancy O'Connor, Executive Assistant to the Town Manager. So thank you for having me tonight to discuss this FY 27 property liability insurance budget. I am responsible for preparing the budget, responsible for the annual review of our property liability insurance, working closely with our account executives from Maya, processing all our claims, that's auto, property, and general liability. And I maintain our property and fleet schedules, that consists of adding and deleting, especially vehicles as required. And I'm also responsible, or I was responsible for scheduling all of our quarterly risk management meetings that we have with Maya's risk manager and processing flex and risk management grants. That's also through Maya.
And just to clarify that your budget entails the premiums for all of the insurance for the town and the schools.
Yes, it's a shared cost,
All,
although it comes from our
it isn't
budget.
shared though, budget wise, it's
Right.
all from the town budget.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's correct. I also do workers' comp, but I don't process those claims. That's handled by HR, but I do.
HR at town hall.
At town hall.
So
Yes.
it's all handled within town hall.
Yes,
Within that.
that is
Okay.
correct. So I handed out to everybody a memo that I went over. I met with Mark last month. And we went over, reviewed that memo that I handed out. And so now I have a short presentation just to highlight those items. And my presentation is also in ClearGov. I added it to our operating budget. But actually, before I want to start the presentation, I just want to address an insurance related comment from Chief Carbone from the other night. We were talking about body cams. And he said that there might be some kind of an insurance incentive or, credits. I am in communication with Maya just to confirm what kind of benefit we may get. Or a reduction, or it might be a rewards program credits. So as soon as I learn more about that, I will pass that information.
Thank you. That'd be great.
You're welcome. All right, so the presentation. I'm just starting with a general explanation about municipal property and general liability insurance and how it's designed to protect our publicly owned buildings, our vehicles, our assets. And that includes all the buildings and structures, our town hall, our library, police and fire station, the schools, community centers, our crematory, the pool, and, golf course. It also covers our contents, all our contents, all our office furniture, computers, public records, all specialized equipment like fire equipment, police equipment, DPW equipment. It also covers our infrastructure, such as all our, water treatment facilities and also irrigation that we have. And our automobiles, our fleet, which is all townwide vehicles, including school, police, fire. That includes trailers, ATVs, and also watercraft. And we also do cover drone insurance as well. And I'm going to cover that. There's other coverage on the next page. Cyber liability, which is big, and Maya is very proactive with that too. Crime coverage, including employee theft and forgery. We have an umbrella liability policy, public officials, school board, the drone insurance. Fire department has a drone, so that's covered. Marina insurance covers our watercraft and also pollution. That includes pollution coverage and our fuel depot coverage for the fuel depot at the fire station. So the next slide is just showing from FY 21, like the number of vehicles, our fleet schedule, That includes ATVs, trailers, watercraft. So in FY '21, we had about 153 at a little, almost $11 million in value. Up to FY '26, we're up to about 175 and almost 15 million in value.
So why?
Well, the cost of everything has gone up, like things like ambulances, the big fire trucks.
So it's not additional equipment.
It's a
it
little
is-
bit of additional equipment, like we have more ATVs than we haven't had, and then beach ops, we have those extra vehicles. So it is, some extra vehicles.
So are these full replacement cost policies? Because I mean, you know, you buy a car, you drive it off out of the showroom and it's worth less, right?
Yeah, the public safety vehicles for the first, several years are, replacement costs. But then after we have them for a while, they go down to actual cash value.
Okay,
So, but the public safety, replacement cost.
it just seems like a 5 years, $5 million is a big jump.
Well, the big fire engines are going, what was it, like 800 something thousand?
Well, you just heard about a lot of.
You wanted to
trucks
win
that
from
we went 1 million.
Oh, yeah, see, there
Yeah.
you go, and the ambulances
So
are.
5 years to
So
go.
we did just get a new fire engine, and that was $1 million.
Yeah, see, so
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
it's just, as we know, I mean, what the average brand new car now is $50,000 just for a brand new car.
Yeah.
So it's, so I just wanted to show you that, the cost over the years. And the next slide is our properties. We have, well, up until the DPW, we have 72 properties. This covers all our buildings. It covers, things like, you know, the dugouts, it covers the track, it covers the turf field. So it's all the water pumping stations. So it's just not the physical building, it's the infrastructure. So in FY '21, it was about 287 million. And now in FY '26, we're up to 332, 494, and 42 million. And then next year, when the new DPW facility
Yeah.
is completed, its estimated value is 21 million, so that will be also additional.
Do we have a good history with them on filing claims?
Yes,
Because I don't hear very often that we are filing claims, so.
no, as a matter of fact, we met with our annual review meeting with Maya October 1st. And they said because of our claims experience, our positive claims experience.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're not gonna see a huge increase in our premium next year. And that's same with workers' comp too. We have a good experience with workers' comp and some of those claims have rolled off. So actually, the workers' comp premium, I think, came down a little bit this last year.
Oh, that's good news.
Yes, it is. It is good news. So the next slide is why stay with Maya? And Maya gives us an early payment discount that's 2.5%. I pay everything right up front, a lump sum. And this last year for FY '26, that was a savings of almost $27,000. Great, paying that up front. And claims, they have efficient claims processing, they have quick response times, their staff is very knowledgeable. And more importantly, with Maya is they offer amazing free trainings and seminars, which includes leadership management training, safety technical training, driver, emergency vehicle driving training, chainsaw training, driver simulators, online webinars, cyber training, and a lot of OSHA compliant training too. And this is all free. A lot of it's virtual. They have a calendar they put out, but and they have a training catalog. So if there's a training that a certain department wants, then you can call them, schedule it. They'll come to you. It's all free. So the fire department helps them schedule an in-person training. They secured a parking lot at Fort Family. They had an instructor come down and rave reviews from the fire department. So as far as free trainings, I don't think anybody could match them.
What did they train the fire department to do?
It's driver training
Oh, driver training.
with their own equipment.
Okay,
So, strategic training, they have an expert come down and police do that too.
going
So
through the cones.
going through cones, backing up, which is huge.
Big thing,
Yeah, so, which is good
Sure.
to get these refreshers. They also offer the Employee Assistance Program, the EAP, which is counseling, which provides 3 free counseling sessions. I don't know how long they are, maybe about an hour. to all employees. So that's a huge benefit. And then their quarterly risk management meetings, which we include department heads, like selected department heads. And they have a risk manager that comes and goes over each department. And they have a rewards program. It's basically, it's based on best practices and policies. And if we have so many trainings, we get credit for it, and that equates to cash.
They help us to stay out of trouble.
Well, yes,
So-
yes, which ultimately reduces our claim experience.
So
Yes,
the
Chuck.
cyber risk protection you mentioned here,
Yes,
is that, when you're involved with, you're hearing about these towns in municipalities that are all being held for ransom,
yes,
is that included in this?
that is included, and they have
we-
specific protocol to
and-
report when
okay.
we have an
We
issue.
do have that.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
We-
and Mike is aware,
I'm aware, yes,
he is aware.
yeah, so,
There is a limit to, what the proceeds. So I believe
Yes.
it's $100,000 per incident.
I think so.
It used to be a more generous benefit.
It was-
Years ago,
So,
when
we-
it first
yeah.
came out, but
Yes.
because of the prevalence and frequency of it,
Yes,
they have.
Yeah.
they have
it's the same as when you have hostage and kidnap insurance. If you're traveling to South America or certain places that you cover, you were never told how much you were covered for.
Mhm.
Because they didn't want you to know.
Want you to know.
That's
Right.
because you tell the captain straight away, well, you get this much money.
Yeah, here's the claim form.
Yeah.
yeah, it used to be 1 million, and now, as Mary
Yeah.
said, it's come way down because of the prevalence of incidents, so,
That's fine.
right,
yeah.
And that's why the need for a robust IT department is so critical.
And a security program, we'll get there.
We're gonna hear about that shortly.
yes. So next slide, and I don't have to go through, this is pretty long, but this is Maya's Rewards Flex Grant Program, and that's based on our best practices, attending training, seminars, adopting new policies, and they offer us rewards, which equates to cash. But things like building maintenance,
So what do? You find out where all the ability to get something, and you let the department heads know to make sure that we qualify?
yes, we have the quarterly meetings, and we go over a whole Maya schedule, and it's broken down by different categories, like automobile. And if the police go to EVOC training, then they get a credit for that.
Mhm.
We have a general liability, which is different, cyber training is big under general. And other member directed trainings, sometimes they get approved for that, like work zone safety. And they have, let's see, what else? Law enforcement. So law enforcement, if they have an 100% implementation of a body camera program, we can get a 3% credit. So
So there is,
that's
there's
right
the
on
answer. So
here.
there's the
There you go.
answer.
So
There is a
that
credit.
might be the answer.
Michael was correct.
A
Yes.
3% credit on what though? We'll have to explore that a little bit
Yeah,
more.
yeah,
because
yeah. We
maybe
don't have a dollar.
Well, it's,
But
yeah.
it is an advantage.
It's a percentage, and we get, like this past year for use of FY 26, based on this rewards program, we got $44,000. So that's a huge,
That's great.
and I will go over what has been covered. So, property, public officials liability, school board, they're always updating their policies. So they get credit for that. And, workers' compensation too. So there's a lot of categories that we can,
I think the best news is that we have so few claims that they're,
yes.
yeah, that's great. So you're obviously,
But that's the
the
benefit of
training's
all these.
working.
Training, yes, correct. So I won't go through this whole list. And so the next screen just shows you, last year, spring of 2025, we had little over $17,000 in flex grant money. And this is money rewarded to us based on our own best practices. I was able to supplement budgets of the police department. I got them AEDs, that's almost $10,000 right there. Fire department, gas meter sensors, that's almost $5,000. Recreation, much needed, beach ops, two-way radios for the beach operations. Recreation, you do ergonomic equipment falls under that, so stand-up desk and chairs, and highway department, always getting them PPE, gloves, reflective vest, combs, everything to make them more safe.
Great.
And then another benefit, they also have a risk management grant, which is up to $10,000, and it's once a year, and it's a first come, first served basis that you have to apply for For FY twenty-six, that $10,000 was put towards cybersecurity to help offset Mike's budget.
Right.
But in FY twenty-five, we were able to supplement facilities budget by purchasing den tracker monitoring systems, and that helps monitor the generators at the police station and the rock. So if anything fails, she knows about it. That is so important, especially at the rock, all the equipment and everything. And we also supplemented the water department's budget, almost $5,000 for 2 magnetic lifters for manhole covers, 3 manhole ladders, and 4 lifting slings. That will increase safety for our employees, and they really needed that equipment. And then next is cost saving measures. Vehicle deductibles, like public safety was always 500, but we increased that to 1,000, and that's across the board. So all our vehicles, there'll be nothing less than $1,000 deductible. And some of the larger equipment is up to $2,000 for deductible. Property deductibles are currently at 2,500, but we're currently researching increasing our property deductible to either 5,000 or 10,000 to determine. So that'll be a little bit of a savings, but I'm still looking at that. Like I mentioned before, the early payment discount, I always make sure we take advantage of that. And we also have a lot of items on our schedules. Scheduled items like mowers, seeders, tractors, anything under $20,000. I'm gonna remove from our schedules because it's still covered under our blanket insurance, so that'll be a slight savings. And then just the last slide is just pictures of some buildings and some equipment that we cover. So I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has.
Insurance is so, I mean, the fact that you've kept a lid on it, I mean, I know everybody's homeowners is drawn to the roof.
Yes.
And this doesn't seem to have suffered the same fate, which is great. I'm sure we owe it
Right.
all to Mrs. O'Connor.
Mrs. O'Connor, thank you.
She's done a
Where are your
fabulous job.
insurance premiums in the Clearfield? What budget do they come under?
It's under, probably, it's shared cost, it's $945. I mean, for me, it's under $945.
You gotta click the other shared cost drop down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be property liability of the shared cost.
Yep, so you're gonna go general fund, other shared costs, risk management. And this is the.
So is the risk management the line, the 945?
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
And in there, you'll see 2 items, this line right here, that 849,000 that Nancy just spoke about, that is for the insurance premiums, and then below it is deductibles.
Right.
Thank you, Nancy.
Could you also talk about the impact to you and your day-to-day operation for the rift that you experienced in your department?
Sure, I'm happy to.
Well, yeah, good question.
Yes, because I think this question was asked of Brady back in your earlier October meeting, talking about the select board budget, and asked what the impact was of that empty position and if work wasn't getting done. And I know a lot of work gets done with a delay, but there's a lot of work that's not getting done. I have many sets of select board minutes that aren't getting done. And like Lauren, I take my laptop at home and I'm trying to catch up on those at home. At night around the weekends, because, select board minutes are very important and I don't wanna, I'm already down the rabbit hole, I don't wanna go down any further. So, things like that. We do a lot of event permits and one-day liquor licenses. This year, we've probably done about 25, 30 event permits and over 50 one-day liquor licenses. So I'm trying to process them as fast as I can. They're just not as timely because I have to focus on the important things. Like if I have an insurance claim or if there's a new vehicle, I have to get it insured. So that takes up the priority. We've had a lot of pole and conduit hearings in Eversource. We just got another one for Powder Point Ave, and I had one for Russell Road, and then all these new developments, and the poles have to be moved. And that is a very timely process. We have to have a hearing. Abutters have to be notified by certified mail. So something that may have taken me the whole process from beginning to end, like about a month, it's taken even longer. Partially, in part because of one person, and then also because the select board, we're trying to keep an every other week schedule.
Sure.
So that we don't burn out. But, and I know.
Demand there.
Yeah, in our department, it's, we've lost a third. However, in my view personally, it's the support staff, I've lost 50%.
Right.
So,
I think one of the things that I've noticed, and I don't know if everybody else has, is when I talk to the department heads or I talk to people in the course of, just trying to figure this all out. People are reticent to really explain the impact that some of these RIFs have, because they feel as though, well, people are gonna think that I'm not working hard enough or I'm not doing
That
that.
they'll be blamed.
And we have got to ask all of you as you come here, tell us.
yeah, well, thank
Because
you.
people need to understand
Mhm.
the impact. I was talking to, I don't even know who it was, and they were saying, oh my God, my permit took blah, 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 and it's like, no kidding.
Yeah.
And, people are myopic, they only understand what's
Right.
happening to them, and they're not trying to be rude or unfeeling to the staff, but they just, they don't connect the dots unless we help them.
Yeah.
They don't understand the process to begin with, right? So
Right.
Well, it's difficult.
when you lose, people,
Right,
right, all of a sudden it becomes glaringly obvious, but I think what's important to point out is that the department heads that we've been talking to, there's a lot of feeling of like, I don't want to be blamed for not getting this work done, so they are going over and above, working weekends, working
Right.
extended hours that is not visible to the public.
Right.
And the community needs to understand and know that.
Yeah.
Right, that they are so committed to the work that they do, and they don't want to let the town down. Right?
yes, exactly, like I said about the select board minutes, I mean, a lot of people read those and.
Yeah.
That was a full-time position, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
And that's in my five-
Is it in the B budget for
Yes,
the
sir.
town manager?
yes,
well, I mean, just somebody to greet people as they come into the selectman's office. I mean, we've all been in there in meetings and
well, I think.
how do you get something done if if you're like a jack in the
Well, I
box
think
trying to see
Brady
who's
has
at the
met, I
front
think
door?
Brady has brought that up before,
Yes,
that
he has.
meetings in his office or. We were in their meeting and I can't remember who it was, but I was jumping up, he had to get the phone,
It was me.
there's, and, oh, it was you.
It was me.
And,
Well, and I can
I was talking to myself.
remember instances of where it was a security issue
oh, yes,
that, remember?
yes, I do.
Yeah, and it was a security issue that not having someone seeing this person that had gone over the edge, coming through the front door.
Right.
You don't wanna wait till they're in.
No,
You can't wait until they're in.
right,
Right, and it's not right.
yeah, in our office, I think because, I don't know, everybody kind of goes to the town manager, the select board office.
Well, it's a feeding,
The
the town
phone,
feeds it
the
out.
phone rings a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking, I really appreciate it.
No, it's kind of like stating the obvious, but I think that we're gonna have to do more of that.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Nancy. Anybody have any more
Any other
questions for Nancy?
No, thanks, man.
Thank you.
I did get your email on my report. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
I promise.
You can call me Mrs. O'Connell all you want.
Just do your job, Betsy.
Do your job.
Send in that report.
All right, thank you, everyone, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Drive safe. All right, sir. Other than fixing Mark's computer, yeah, okay.
Mark's good, I can tell, he's all set.
There he is.
Should I move? I feel like I can't be seen, I'm gonna.
Oh,
I
you want
have
to move
your
over
line
here?
items.
I will get right out of here. How do you like?
Best, sure, yeah. let's
Is
look
that
up.
okay?
Thank you. Yeah.
I got it. Get you connected and situated. Again, small print, but if it helps.
Okay.
Thank you.
You can do it. You can do it. Thank you.
Oh, you gotta get.
Today.
Oh.
Thank you.
Hey, good night, everybody. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
There's not a minute.
All right, sir. Do you know everybody here or, I mean, we all know you, but Do you want to introduce ourselves or?
We could do both. So I can start. I have a slide introducing myself. That I haven't met.
Glamour shot,
Thank
very
you.
nice,
That's
yeah,
my glamour shot.
yep, very nice.
So my name is Mike Woodford. I'm the Chief Technology Officer here for the town and the schools.
Oh,
I have returned. I am the new old Chief Technology Officer. I'm proud to say I was the first CTO in the town after a study was conducted to merge the town and the school IT teams. Very grateful and excited to come back to public service in this town and have the opportunity to kind of return to the work that I've come to realize I'm very passionate about. So I spent the last 3 years in the private sector. It's interesting out there. I worked in a VCIO capacity, really helping organizations with technology strategy, cybersecurity. I worked in SLED, manufacturing and banking. Those were the primary customers that I dealt with. So SLED, state, local government, and education, which was a good fit. And I'm still current with technology. I'm working on my certified information systems security professional. I'm ready to sit for it. I just haven't done so yet, but it's nice to meet everyone. I feel like I know everyone in this room for the most part.
Let me just go around to say it.
Yeah, Chuck Wilburn.
Hey, Chuck.
Jack Kent, J.R. Kent.
Ron Weiler,
Andy Flynn's father.
Yes, I know you very well. All right,
Betsy Sullivan and you know Kathleen.
sure do.
and on the TV is Mark.
Hey, Mark, can't see you. but-
Mark Hokinson, thank you.
Of course. So I have my mission statement here. One of the things that I hate with a PowerPoint is a ton of text that nobody wants to read, but I'm gonna read it anyways. So the mission statement of the technology department here is to securely empower all town operations through smart, sustainable technology investments that deliver measurable value by strengthening cybersecurity, improving operational efficiency, and fostering collaboration across departments. We ensure that every tech initiative enhances service delivery, safeguards critical systems, and contributes to a stronger, more connected community.
Amen, brother.
That's cool. So this
There you
is,
go.
this is the IT org chart as it sits right now. Like I mentioned, we have a combined department across town and school. So I have two wonderful bosses that I serve, our town manager, Rainey Reed, and our superintendent of schools, Dr. Danielle Quayman. So you can see on the left, our town employees. We have two town employees, Lori White and Matt Johnson. They're both tier 1 tech specialists. So tier 1's frontline support. Tier 2 is generally the next level for an escalation if those folks run into something that they can't handle or that they need a little help with. So we have Matt LaPerry, he's our sole tier 2 person. And then Jim McKenney is our tier 3 network and systems administrator. He's the top technical person if that person runs into something.
So Matt is desk side support.
So Matt is the lead technician, but yes, he's also a tech specialist. The unique thing about, so the right side, we have 3 school employees, and the left side, we have 2 town employees. Katie Forish, who's technically a tier 1, is also our help desk manager. So Mr. Frenweiler had a chance to come over to my office at the middle school, and I gave him a little tour of the help desk and our, our tech offices. So it's a busy place. So she mans that all day, every day with student and staff walk-ins, but also
That's right, the
facilitates.
students come to you, right?
Yep, the students will come to us throughout the school day.
Are all the employees in the middle school? Or some of them at the town hall here?
No, so all the employees, including myself, are housed at the middle school.
Okay.
And that was one of the requests that I had as well. When I first took the position years ago, I wanted to be close to the team, rather than sort of across town, and I feel that works really well for us, so.
No more issues with parades of people coming into the help desk office, right? That's been managed.
I guess to find that, what do you mean?
I just
some previous experiences that were.
Parade experiences?
parade, the entire class showing up.
Oh, yeah, well, we're working on that. Yeah, it happens, you know what I mean? We're trying to encourage them to send one representative if we have a global issue instead of, 30 students queuing out the door, so. Yeah, so we're going to.
Process.
It's a process, yeah. For sure. So that just kind of provides the whole picture. One of the other goals that I've had is to take this team and ensure that this team is a global team. So there was traditionally, and even for the past few years, I sort of discovered upon my return in February that there had been a little segregation in the team where the town folks were working town only problems and the school folks were working school only problems. So for me, there's a lot of power in numbers, there's better service delivery if we utilize the whole lot, so we've gotten back to that, I think it's
Hence the idea of a consolidated IT department.
hence the idea of the consolidated IT.
Hence, okay, yep, so that's good.
Here we go. So these are the services provided by IT. Again, tons of text that I'm not going to force anybody to read through, but the big, the big ones are IT operation, cybersecurity and risk management, and then infrastructure and hardware. Some of the high level, I guess, pieces from each would be, end user technical support under operations, IT strategy and governance, project planning and oversight. From the cybersecurity portion, right? My department and myself oversees the security awareness and end user training. Vulnerability and risk assessment that we'll talk about in a little bit. And then from the infrastructure and hardware piece, hardware and lifecycle management, all the servers and infrastructure, all the wired networking, all the wireless networking, all the software assets. Zoom that we're using right now falls under us as well. So, and then cloud infrastructure, right? Office 365 and Google Workspace as well. So all of our collaboration tools and large platforms are part of, the IT.
How much is still on-prem, Mike, and how much is cloud services?
Yeah, I think it's probably evenly split. Maybe it's heavier cloud at this point. I mean, everything that we are moving to the cloud if it makes sense.
And the cost is right?
And the cost is right. I think, yeah, a lot of the pieces that haven't been moved are where we look at like completely virtualized server infrastructure. Where we take like an Active Directory domain controller and put that in Azure or something like that.
Okay,
That juice is not worth the squeeze quite yet.
okay,
We're getting close though.
okay.
And the big difference for those, for anybody that doesn't know, in my opinion, is when you move one of these services to the cloud, we don't have to feed and water, right? We're not powering it with electricity. We're not looking at, updates generally on a full server level or something like that. Microsoft 365 is a great example. We use all their collaboration tools in their email. But we're not going in and updating the back end of that on a regular basis and applying security patches. So again, I returned to the role in February. So I think that's 8 months I've been back. So I wanted to touch briefly on what we've been able to accomplish in the last 8 months. I think we've done a good amount. Again, more text, but I'll hit the high level. The first thing that I had the team kind of look at was a full IT physical inventory. I'm a big believer in if you want to know where you're going, you need to know where you are and where you're starting. Our inventory, to the best that I could see, wasn't very accurate, hadn't really been fully maintained. So much to the chagrin of the team, we started a full count of everything in the spring and through the summer. We had a few college interns that are former Duxbury High School graduates that helped us as well, which was great. So we did complete a full IT physical inventory, which is really important. Mostly hardware. We did do a lot of the software as well, but that directly is going to fuel and help inform long-term capital and device lifecycle planning. So another big thing that we put in place that we did not have was project management, right? We put a project management platform in place that helps with running our projects, our tasking and tracking. And I also use that to manage all my individual and team meetings with everybody, in IT. So it's super helpful.
MS Project?
That's okay.
MS Project?
Monday.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, we looked at that. Microsoft Project is great. It's huge, it's
Yeah,
expensive.
very cumbersome.
Yeah, so Monday.com is great. I actually use that every day for several years in my former life. So it's worked out well. Another really big accomplishment that I've described as a quick win, but our superintendent of schools told me was not a quick win, was deploying multi-factor authentication, right? So it's a huge piece. Google and Microsoft both report that there's over a 98% reduction in incidents when multi-factor authentication is deployed. So for anybody that doesn't know, or anybody in here who I'm sure uses mobile banking, every time you go to log into your bank, it sends you a text and has you input a code or sends you a push message or an email. So just being able to, provide multiple factors, something like a password and something you have, like your phone or the code that you get sent, makes a huge difference from a security posture. So we deployed that with a third-party product called Duo. It's fantastic. It's better than the built-in like Microsoft MFA or the Google MFA because it allows us to use it for additional applications. So what happens now, as any town employee or school employee, staff member can attest to, When you go to log into your computer, you're getting prompted to authenticate your identity on a phone or using a hardware token. That is fully rolled out.
Great,
Very happy about that.
and it's very easy to use.
It's gone pretty well. So that's securing all the computer logins. Another big thing on the back end that the users aren't going to see, it's securing all the server logins. So any of my team that touches any of the servers, they're prompted to log in with MFA. I had an end user complain the other day. She said, I've had to log in with MFA 8 times a day. I said, yeah, I understand. My systems administrator probably does that 50 times a day because he's in and out of the servers all day long. So it's definitely, the juice is worth the squeeze on that front. Another thing that we discovered that I was able to kind of implement is the deployment of EDR. EDR is endpoint detect and response. It's really just next generation antivirus. We had a really great Cadillac product in place. It wasn't everywhere. And it also wasn't consistent through the town and the school. So we decided to stick with that product. It's a good one. We rolled it out to the rest of those remaining devices. And now we're in a really good spot in terms of that posture with, again, a really basic.
What is the product?
The product is Sentinel-1. Ideally, from a security perspective too, we try not to mention those specific pieces and.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. But
You just told me I'm not gonna tell you.
no, I should have just said that. I
As
don't-
need to know basis and you don't need to.
And
know.
I do
Right.
not need to know.
That's right. So no, it's a fantastic XDR product or EDR product. So, and the difference is back in the day with a normal antivirus, you would download your updates and then that looks at all the files on your computer. And if there's a match for something malicious, it would quarantine it. EDR takes that a step further where it looks at heuristic data. It looks at changes in files, anything that's odd, processes that run, and it will actually quarantine those. So
We're as safe as we can be.
we're as safe as we can be in that aspect, yes. So MFA and EDR are probably 2 and 3 on the list, with number 1 being cybersecurity training. And I think that's coming up real quick. So vulnerability management is another big one. We were able to put 2 vulnerability management platforms in place. What is that? That's a system or a piece of software that looks at everything in your organization that touches a network and looks for any kind of chink in the armor or vulnerability that allows any kind of bad actor to potentially exploit that threat and gain access to your network. So it's really it's your threats acting on your vulnerabilities that really equate to your risk. So this is a big risk reducer because we're aware of our vulnerabilities and now we're acting on those. Again, the recommitment to cybersecurity training for all town staff and school staff. Our town manager and our town leadership team has been fantastic, making it mandatory for all employees for the first time.
How's it being monitored?
I'm monitoring.
You-
Yes, so I'm reporting back on a monthly basis to Danielle and Rainey on where we're at, the percentage of completion, but we've already seen a huge jump in the completions comparative to last year, the year before. So I'm happy with the progress.
And who's providing the training?
So the training actually is provided through a grant that we get through the state. And I did the math because I used to sell this same product, which I won't mention. And it's about a $24,000 cost that we were getting for free through the state for this. So it's huge. And again, in my opinion, it's the number 1 thing that we can do to protect ourselves on a security front. So I'm happy with the way that we're trending there. The private sector completion rate, I think, is around 78%. So we're shooting for about 80% completion. I'd love to see us get there, and I'm cautiously optimistic. IT tickets. So I spent the last 3 years working for various managed service providers, living in an IT ticketing system. We were missing service level agreement implementation and priority implementation within our tickets. No, that one. So those are 2 things that I found right away that I went back in and we implemented. We also missed on the delegation of service coordinator duties, right? So we need someone to basically sit there and look at all the tickets that come in, divide them up with the appropriate resource, those tier 1s, 2s, and 3, and then ensure that they're getting done in a timely manner and that nothing is slipping through. So our help desk manager, Katie Forish, actually does that for us. She does a phenomenal job. because she has a bit of downtime at times when she's sitting kind of cemented in the help desk. So that's been great. Cloud backup for Google Workspace and Microsoft 365. We had this when I departed. For some reason, we did not have this when I returned. So we have restored the cloud backup with a different vendor. And this is also a good example of one of the cornerstones of what I'm trying to put together for the town and the schools, which Mary and I have talked about at length, is really like the economies of scale, the savings that we can find when we go to a larger volume with these sorts of things. So we got a phenomenal price on this particular service. So now we have a comprehensive backup for Google and 365. And the last piece for this slide is process and policy, right? Like I was living by and helping to write a lot of policy, a lot of security-based policy. We talked about incident response, right? Incident response policy is probably the number 2 or 3 on the list behind like acceptable use and backup and disaster recovery. So again, working with the town and working with school leadership, we've put a lot of processes and policies in place on the security front. So I'm very happy with where we've come in the last 8 months or so. So this is maybe a familiar slide. IT is the 5th utility, right? So a friend of mine who is the IT director, the CIO for Andover about 10 years ago, had kind of said this to me off the cuff that he is touting that IT is the 5th utility. I loved it. I stole it. I presented it here before. So, you know, your water, your lights, your heat, your electricity, and IT. Like we cannot live without IT. IT underpins everything we're doing at this point. So it's important that we all understand and support that to the best of our ability. I mean, this meeting is running on Zoom right now, and most other things. So, okay. So now that I've sufficiently provided all that information, we can talk about the budget. So, this is a snapshot of the historical budget for FY25, 26 and 27. Well, I guess it's just 26 and 27, basically. And we've had a few changes, right? So based on some of those systems that we added, and then we had a $10,000 reduction with a few savings areas, which we can talk about in 1 second. I'm sorry if that's really small to see. We had a $52,000 increase with $10,000 in reductions. So there's a net increase that I'm proposing for FY27.
Is this presentation in clear?
Sure.
Will be though.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
So some of the high level for those costs, and we can get into all of them. The DPW facility has some increased operational costs. We've added, $5,600 to the equipment and rental lease line, which is basically for an additional copier, service of the copier and supplies. Software as a service and subscription cost increases, right? We're 5% across the board, which I'm sure you've probably heard from other departments. I think I heard that from Joe Green at the Rock with their CTO over there. That's probably conservative. Some of these have increased even more. I had a meeting with a vendor today, and they're increasing their costs by 50%.
What?
Mary and I are gonna.
Yeah, having a heart attack.
Mary and I are gonna discuss that. So there's a lot. VMware, which I'm not supposed to mention, but increased their costs by 100% this year. So
Are there any other choices? Are they the only band in town?
there's other choices. So we will not be with that particular last example. When we move forward and when we have a refresh based on the capital life cycle of the hardware, most likely we won't proceed with that. But there's other good choices.
Are they pursuing other industry sectors? You getting out of the public?
So
Sounds like they don't love us anymore.
Yeah.
They don't love us. I think that from what I've read, it's either 98 or 99% of their revenue is generated from the top 50 companies.
Yeah, there we go.
So they don't care, in my opinion. I'm guessing about the 1%.
Maybe they're putting their energy into the most profitable clients. I mean, no,
Fair.
yeah,
Most people do that.
yeah. Most people do that, but manage to stay in business in the future. Yes, before we judge them for just being mean.
Right. So that's kind of the story across the board. I mean, we can get into the details of those at some point if you wanted as well. Okay, great. Zoom, we moved that into IT. For some reason, that was sitting in the clerk's budget. So we moved that back over. And then again, to touch on the addition of the critical security and IT services, EDR, MFA, vulnerability management, cloud backup, project management. Those are some of the pieces that we were missing, that we now have in that budget. Questions on the?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, sir, please.
On the budget here for the 5B note, Mike, I just need some help understanding. The sentence says a grant written via community compact will fund the stand-up of this on year one. This would be to continue services moving forward. Could you explain what this means? Have you written a grant? Where's the grant application? What's its status?
Yep, absolutely. And that's the next slide. Well, 2 slides away here. I'm sorry. I haven't gotten there. I know there's been some feedback I did want to mention around training and education and minimizing that budget. So I did want to call out here that I did minimize that budget a little bit. That's based on past precedent, the usage that we've had for the last 5 years. We also have a comprehensive system in place. It's called CBT Nuggets. I'm okay mentioning that one. Computer-based training. It's really an unlimited on-demand library for IT certifications. Everybody on my team has access to that. They didn't when I returned. That was removed. So I put that back. And then SMART goals that I build for each individual on the team are really based around one particular tech cert. So they have the ability to train as much as they want, unlimited with that. There's also room in that training line as well for reimbursement of IT certifications. So ideally they take and pass job specific certs. And if they do, we could reimburse them for that on a case-to-case basis. So
Are any of
Is
these
that
insurance
encouraging
companies?
to go from a T1 to a T2 or to a T3?
yeah, for sure. So the platform CBT Nuggets I've used myself over the last 10 to 15 years. And I did, my CCNA, my Cisco certification there. You can do everything from networking to Microsoft to any of it, and it would help them progress, kind of through those ranks.
And all the classes that we have our employees take, is that covered by Maya, or is it something that we pay for?
The classes we have our employees taking in the cybersecurity training.
Yeah.
So that's an additional state grant.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that we apply for, and we have been fortunate enough to be awarded every year.
Okay,
So we'll continue with that, obviously. But I did want to call that out. It's just a quick shot of ClearGov. So if we look at the overall budget for Department 155, we're up 4.68%. Like we said. And then here's the 5B budget. So in February, right as I was starting, I did apply for community compact grant. I wrote that grant around a few pieces of the security stack that we were missing. Specifically, that's SIM, XDR, and MDR, which is a lot of 3-letter acronyms or 4-letter. There's probably a list, which Brendan and I looked at, of 11 or so tools in the tool bag of a security professional that you'd want to have, like cybersecurity training, endpoint detect and response, MFA, kind of going down the list. These are probably the next largest pieces. So I wrote the grant around a software as a service application. Basically, SIM is security information and events monitoring. That's basically, just think of it like a big server where you take all the logs from all your other servers and all your network devices and from Google and from 365, and you dump them all into one place that has a little bit of intelligence, probably AI at this point, and some machine learning behind it. And then that in combination or correlation with XDR, which is extended detect and response, which is EDR was antivirus, XDR is everything else. So all your wired networking, your access points, your switches, your firewalls. When all that logging data is correlated, XDR has the ability to look at telemetry behind that to say, okay, Mrs. Sullivan logged in from California 10 minutes ago, and now she just logged in from Duxbury 2 minutes ago. Something's not right. Oh, and then she tried to access the server again. And then she tried to initiate a VPN connection through the firewall. That service is going to take all 3 of those pieces, correlate them together, and throw up a huge red flag. So that's what we're, in my opinion, missing in the stack of security services that we have. So I wrote the grant for that, which would fund the setup in the first year of it. This 47,000 would be for the additional years beyond that. So the next year to follow, basically. So I haven't executed anything. because I don't have the sustainable funding behind it yet.
When does the compact get awarded again, Mike? I can't remember what,
March.
March? Okay, that was like February, March.
Well, it's March, and then I believe it's 18, I have 18 months to, I believe.
So it's after town meeting?
Yes. I can verify.
So how does that work for what you're trying to accomplish? We've already been awarded.
We have been awarded.
Yeah,
right? And it
Wait, so
covers-
this one, I mean, for the further one,
It covers year one, right?
so you're all set on year one, it would just be the follow-up years that you're still fighting for?
It would be the follow-up years, yes, but I haven't executed it because I didn't want to, part of the stipulation is that you solemnly swear that you will continue this and that this isn't a one-year stand-up that you don't have the ability to fund in subsequent years.
Thank you for the explanation. I think what you've explained, and it's been helpful to me, is, and I see that it's supported by Rainey as well. It really comes across as a more robust system. And I think the example that you just gave us in detail is very helpful to understand the complexities. In particular, when I go back to the board chart that you just had, you basically got two major functions of the community, schools and everybody else. And I would think that the interfaces of all those organizations would be enhanced from a security perspective by this grant. I'm very much in support of this.
Thank you, yes, no, and that's accurate, it's, and the MDR component, the managed detect and response piece is a service, it says service, it's a partnership with a SOC, a Security Operations Center. It would be a 24/7 coverage thing, where when they see those three pieces come together, they have the ability to act, or call me at 2 a.m, or call Jim. So it's,
That's a phone call.
oh, yeah.
Don't have them call this.
But, oh, okay. So with that would be, the total increase would be 9.87%, with 5B, for 89,426.
Would that be an ongoing cost, like
Yes,
an annual?
yeah, it would have to be, yep. There may be some flexibility, which I didn't mention in the slides, in our managed service offering. We also have an IT managed service provider, again, much like The Rock, for after hours, 24/7. They help us with a lot of the updating and support that we have. We have a tremendous amount of equipment with a team of 5 folks. I mean, we have, I think I told school committee, we have 10,000 devices roughly for that size team. The public sector statistic is 1 employee for every 100 devices. And we have 5. So we need our managed service provider partners that also have different levels of expertise as well. We need to call in an SME. I like to think that the team and myself are, we're kind of like general practitioners, right? But if you need to see a cardiologist, I'd like to be able to call one and have one kind of on hand. So that's sort of what this plays into.
Does it matter that a large number of those so-called devices are the simple laptops that the kids are using in the school system?
I would say that the Chromebooks are inherently more secure by design, by the way that that they're set up. But a student's account could be compromised, right? Like we haven't rolled multi-factor to the students yet. That's another challenge in and of itself that I think everyone is facing. So it's important to have that level of monitoring.
Especially when we're taking away their phones.
Right, they love that.
Well, but I mean, how could they get the code?
Well, right, and we can't require them. I mean, we have to facilitate a way for them to do that. So there's other schools that have come up with somewhat creative ways where they have, your ID, and your ID's got a QR code, and then you log in and you scan your ID. And the ID piece, I think, is also got some innovation behind it as well. Like our high school administrative team is looking at using the IDs for signing in and out of classes, right? To ease the attendance piece where you use your ID and you scan, you tap it on the door as you go in. Other districts have been safely or successfully using that. So kind of something I think about.
It's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, right. So that was 5B. So here's some of the looking forward thoughts that I have. Again, back to the economy of scale and the centralized management piece, right? I'm looking to, and we've discussed, Mary and I, and Randy as well, like the consolidation of technology purchases. Like a really great example is our Verizon mobile plans. A lot of those are spread throughout the various departments. I'd love to take those in. I mean, I need more to do, like a hole in my head, but I would love to take those in and look at, you know, are we properly sized? Do we have the right plans? Are we getting the best bang for our buck with those plans? And I think that's applicable across quite a few different things. Centralized hardware refresh cycle for all departments. I did complete already my 10-year capital plan for the school. The town's 10-year capital plan will be complete very shortly. So I think that'll be helpful to kind of line up our hardware refresh cycles, you know, obviously with our budgeting cycles.
Well, that seems like a big window, 10 years.
It is a big window. And you know, it's funny you mention that. So when I brought this whole 10-year capital plan to the private side, I got a lot of feedback from C-level at my last company, and they said, the private sector people do not need a 10-year plan. We don't even know what's going to happen 2 quarters from now. 10-year plan is not going to work. So I pushed back and I brought it to 2 of my biggest clients. They loved it. They had never done planning to that extent. And even as we talked about with cloud, if you plan to replace a server in 6 years, even if you're going to move that server to the cloud, you still need that one-time capital cost to facilitate that move. So having that as an earmarker, I think was helpful. So I saw success with 10 years. It is a long time. 3 to 5 is, you know, or 5 maybe is the earmarker that we use. But a lot of devices are switches, wireless access points. Those are 7 to 8 years. So I need to put those on.
Some of the networks infrastructure, you could certainly bring to. But just the pace at which we know that software and some of the devices change so quickly.
For sure.
You're constantly learning new things and bringing new things in, so.
Absolutely. I
So
mean,
this is really a focus on the infrastructure, your networks, and you're making decisions along the way about where you're placing all of that data, right?
for sure. Yeah, the industry standard for a workstation for a PC is 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? So they're replacing them in the private sector every 3 years. We have a life cycle set at 5 years. And it's probably going to be eye-opening when we discuss the capital, because there's opportunity for us to do a better job on that front, I think. So
Nice segue, because I will be asking.
excellent. So full software asset inventory and license review, the elimination of redundant tools. I've kind of proposed already that we eliminate Zoom, because we have Zoom and we have Teams and we have Google Meet on the school side. Why? If we can get functionality out of one of those products. So I'm really trying to, through the inventory of software assets, figure out where those pieces are. One of those processes or policies on the school side that we've been able to put in place is the addition of new applications in the review. So we don't have math apps at 2 elementary schools that do the same thing that serve the same purpose. So that's already been kind of a win for us.
Refreshing.
Yeah, for sure. AI and automation opportunities.
Thank you.
So these are some of the thoughts that I had, exploring, you know, AI for the help desk and chatbot use, right? Looking at automating ticket triage. I know that The Rock is looking at, you know, using AI to answer some of their incoming calls from the non-emergency lines. I love that line of thinking. I think that's, you know, where we need to be going. Summarizations and help with, you know, forming policies and forms, I think is another big piece, or eliminating some redundant tasks, I think is also on the roadmap. So my only caution there is that we proceed any of these changes with policy, that we have safeguards in place and we understand what that organizational law that we set up is before we flip the on switch for some of these things. And again, like consolidating backups and servers, you know, expanded use of digital forms or online approval, which we talked about as well. And then again, just keeping that IT plan aligned with capital and operational cycles. I do have an idea for an asset or a software dashboard to be able to provide to folks, right? And then again, continuing cybersecurity maturity, right? Building out our CIS controls and our NIST policy development to just be as prepared as we possibly can. That was a lot.
How many people do you think that would take, you would need additional people to do that? So in 10 years, how many people would your department be?
Yeah, it's tough to say, you know what I mean? I mean, 8 would be great, 10 would be great. I mean, 20 would be great. If you take the 1,000, if you take 100 devices and divide it by 10,000, that's 100 people. I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's bad. Yeah. No, that's right.
But those devices aren't being used, utilized all at once, right? You've got a slow period, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's still devices, I mean, I guess.
I guess I'm not, do the kids don't have their Chromebooks for 12 months, do they? Or
Sure do.
They do, okay. So
Sure
so
do.
you are doing that many devices.
All year long, and they knock on our door over the summer.
So
We'll
you
try to
get that, you have
projects.
to provide that support.
Yeah. Yes.
Just, if you may be doing this already, but I presume that you have Macs in the school department, is
We
that
do.
correct?
Yes.
There's a request for 400,000 for the teachers, I believe.
Just FYI, OpenAI rolled out Atlas on the 21st. And I went on a MacBook Air. I have a subscription to Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Paid subscription.
Me too.
And I opened up Atlas yesterday. And I had a pro forma tax return prepared using their agent capability for a farm, Schedule F.
Okay.
So I would encourage you to take a look at that, play with it. I think you'll find it very useful. And as Chuck was asking you questions, that kind of product, if you had SKU numbers of all the devices that you have under your control, you can use that as an agent to essentially assemble an inventory, which would give you the manufacturer, the product number, serial number, the purchase date, et cetera. And it could actually analyze what the useful life is of that equipment.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah.
But you should jump on that. I was really surprised at how far I got with it. Because the rollout was on the 21st of the month. And first reaction I got, I had to do this several times. I was up pretty late last night. But I managed to get past whatever it was on their servers and actually engage in this particular path. So what I did is I finally quit around 1 a.m. And what I had them do was to do a pro forma tax return using FY on tax year 2024 forms because 2025 is incomplete. And I was really shocked. They were able to assemble an inventory of the forms and a narrative of a pro forma. And I didn't give them any numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a
So
lot.
I'd be very interested
So-
in seeing if you.
I think that the segue from that is that as we have talked to different department heads about, various challenges that they've got. And a number of times, different members of finance have asked if that AI could help them, could, cut down on what they have to do to research a certain task or provide a checklist for a certain task. And because of the shortfall in staffing, it doesn't seem as though there is the bandwidth to learn how to use AI to make their jobs more timely or efficient or easy or whatever word you want to put in there. Is there been conversations about that on helping people get AI as part of their work product to help them, save themselves?
So yes, there have been a lot of AI conversations. I think folks are itching to get their hands on it.
Sure.
The school has already done their last professional development they just had. They incorporated a Gemini piece with Google. I think I have a few thoughts on that. And the first one is security. Like I'm always thinking of security, and whatever data you put in there, you have to be very careful that it's not personally identifiable information.
Sure.
Because you don't have control of that once it leaves, or you need to have an agreement that's ironclad that you understand that, it's remaining within the tenant. So Google and Microsoft have the ability for you to do that. OpenAI does not, and I'm a big user of ChatGPT myself. I love it. It's fantastic.
And by the way, that MacBook that I'm talking about is running Sequoia 15.7.1.
Okay. Yeah, well, good to know. So I think I guess the point is, yes, is there a lack of time to train? Probably, yes. I think the biggest piece for me would be that we put good policy in place around AI and what our expectations are. And then we can allow folks to start to use it.
Rolling it out slowly, you know, you have to, I think, experiment with some of this, of these newer technologies. And it's not really, AI is not new technology, so let's just put that out there, right? It started with natural language processing and it's now just developed. But I think that the key to a lot of the, to not make it so overwhelming, right, is to take a department, like, I know Jeannie's looking at in HR, she's looking at doing something, with repetitive processes, right, to help her staff. And I know she's working closely with you, Mike, on some of the tasks that she'd like to see done. And then it kind of builds on its own in successive cascades through the organization as people figure out, you know, the smaller things get bigger and bigger and bigger successes. So, yeah, but to take it on all at once is, it's a monumental task. Right?
It's a big piece, and I think that from my role in my seat, I want to make sure again that I keep saying that we're security minded and we think about that. Like, there's been requests from the school side and the town side to just turn it on and enable it so that I can use it and I can add spreadsheets to it and I can have it manipulate the spreadsheets. And I haven't, you know, made a lot of friends saying no, we're not going to do that because there's a risk, there's an inherent risk. So you know, it's a fantastic tool and there's a lot to it. Even something as simple as like, you know, plugins that we have for Zoom or team meetings, right? Like in the last year before I came back, every single one of my meetings, I had a form of AI plugged in Copilot, and Copilot took notes on the whole meeting. And then at the end of the meeting, it spit out action items for me and for the other folks on the meeting and a to-do and the summary and filed it away. I mean, it's phenomenal. But the IT department for my former company had all of that very well protected and kind of insulated in its own enclave. So just want to make sure that we do the same. There is a lot of opportunity out there. And I also think it's not like a silver bullet. You know, it's not a magic solution, but there is opportunity out there.
I think that we're hearing from department heads, they're drowning, you know, because of reductions in staff and, you know, increased responsibilities. That anything that we can do to make their life simpler is something that we have to take very seriously.
Agreed.
So, thank you, Mike.
That's great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Did you want to get into your capital request for next year? Or no, let's just say, I mean, do you have that done yet? I'm looking at the page, so just a FYI.
Sure,
What
sure.
page are you looking
I
at?
mean, we could lightly touch on it. I really am not totally prepared.
All right, if you don't want
I
to,
mean, what,
that is an acceptable answer, not yet.
I mean, yeah, I would defer to my friend over here.
Yeah,
That's good.
so the fiscal advisory committee is starting their meeting cycle, next week is their kickoff meeting for the process. The department heads they have just finished entering their capital requests, so we haven't gotten our arms around everything yet. So it would, and as you know, the fiscal advisory vets all of the capital requests, puts together a recommendation, and then we bring it before you so that you guys can see them and hear them. So if it's okay with you guys, if we could follow that.
I don't think you want to.
No, that'd be fine. Just some of the other departments, it was more straightforward.
There were a couple of departments that I wanted, I had specifically asked to make sure they called out a couple of things just to put it on your radar, like the fire chief, talking about the very expensive engine that's gonna be on our radar soon. Some of those other types of things.
Okay. That's fair. We'll look forward to it then.
Can't wait. Thanks, everyone.
Well, do you carry the stuff that the school committee was talking about as far as their capital requests? Is that under your heading or theirs? Like 400,000 for new Air Max for the teachers?
Yep, that's my I did that.
That's part of your budget.
That is part of, yes, that is part of the school capital request, yes.
But it's part of, under the umbrella of IT.
Yes, it originated with me for sure.
Okay,
Yes, those devices are nearing 7 years old.
And
Right.
this, yeah, so the school department, it seems like that you're interested in some of the capital. So the school department presented their capital budget to the school committee back in early October.
October 8th, yes.
And they're scheduled at an upcoming meeting to potentially take a vote and make a recommendation on that. And then they are scheduled with the fiscal advisory committee. I believe it's on either November 5th or November 12th, where they'll be presenting all of their capital requests to fiscal advisory.
Okay,
So fiscal, you guys meet on Tuesday, Wednesday, fiscal's on, I mean, you guys meet Tuesday, Thursday, fiscal's on Wednesday. So if you're poking around the town's calendar, you can see the agendas for
Not
that.
bad.
Yeah, feel free to zoom in and
Yeah.
Hey,
listen.
Mary, we have a question came up the other night about this meeting on Monday night,
Yes,
which is the budget with the selectmen and it sounds like they don't have everything yet, right? Do they have everything they need? Because the people from the school are here and they said they had really gone over it yet, something?
that is correct. So, so are you guys done with Mike? Because I figured.
Yeah,
I'd touch
yeah,
on
sorry,
that.
you
Sorry.
can go home,
Thank
sir.
you all, I appreciate it.
Run like the wind.
I will run as fast as I can.
Thank you, Mike.
There you go. Thank you so much,
Have a
sir.
great day.
Good to see you.
You as well.
Thank you for coming back home.
Happy to be here.
Great presentation.
Yes,
I almost understood it.
Lots of acronyms, right?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of
Yay.
alphabet soup there. God bless him. He knows how.
Welcome yours.
So that's a great segue, to just talk briefly about Monday night and, so there is a select board meeting on Monday night. It's going to be held here in the Ellison Room downstairs. And it's a regular, select board meeting, not a joint meeting, but we are inviting, the department heads to attend to be able to answer any questions, as well as, the finance committee and the school committee. So Rainey and I will be providing basically an update on where we stand in the budget process. So from the perspective of the town side, all of the department heads have put in, sorry, I don't mean to talk around Kathleen, the back of her head.
That's all right.
All of the town departments have entered their budgets, have submitted their budgets, and Rainey and I have had an opportunity to meet with all of them. And so we know what the picture looks like for the requests from the town side. The school department is in the process of putting together their budget. The superintendent is scheduled to present the budget to the school committee on November 5th. Then the school committee, I'm just checking my calendar, yes. So the superintendent will be presenting the school budget request to the school committee on November 5th. Then on November 19th, the school committee will be having dialogue about that budget. And then the school committee is required to hold a public hearing in order to allow the public to speak on it before they vote their final recommendation. That public hearing is scheduled for Wednesday, December 10th. So it's expected that the school committee will vote a final budget number on the 10th. So for Monday night, so we don't know what the school committee, budget looks like yet. It hasn't been published, so that is an accurate statement. What we are doing with respect to the overall budget is we are carrying a placeholder right now of a 3% increase in the school department's budget. So when I dropped in all of the town requests, what I dropped in for the school department is a 3% increase over the FY 26 budget for 27 funding. But there is, TBD in their final 5A number and their final 5B number. So we will learn that over the course of the coming weeks. Does that make
It
sense?
just seems to be, it's out of sync. We've got a meeting on the 27th and I'm not quite sure what they're going to be speaking to. We've got a meeting on the 5th with the schools, which is 60% of our budget, so it's kind of a joke to talk about the whole budget without.
Well, I
some of that.
would respectfully disagree because
Well, Joey's making rough, but you've worked your butt off, I understand that, but we don't have much hard data from the schools yet.
Correct, but there are, there
But you
are
have
many
enough to
other
place on.
departments that,
Yeah.
play a role in our organization
Of
and,
course.
and their
Well,
needs are.
the public-
So the meeting on the
Yes.
27th is gonna be geared towards the town side.
It is, so let me finish, if I may.
Yeah, no,
To
please do.
just describe, so Rainey and I will be presenting a summary of where we stand with respect to revenues and expenditures, based on the town's budgets that we know
Right,
and based on the placeholder for the school department, knowing that that placeholder may likely change, right?
okay,
So it's an opportunity for the select board to take a look at the overall status of the budget of where we stand today. And to ensure that we have reflected their budgetary policy, that they have, you know,
Your priorities.
approved their priorities. And make sure that that is appropriately reflected in the budget. And to talk about some of these 5B items that you guys have been hearing about from these departments.
Mhm.
And begin to start to gather an understanding of what those requests are in order to determine how we are going to fund those going forward, how or if we are going to fund those going forward. So again, this is not a final budget. We are not done there. This, as you know, is a long process, but it's an opportunity to have, take a
checkpoint.
exactly.
So last year, we did these meetings like we're just doing now, and then we did another round with the selectmen, with all the things.
We will not be doing
We're
that.
not gonna be doing that, because, so will the public be giving their input on Monday night as well at this?
That's entirely up to the select board. It is a select board meeting, so it's up to them. I cannot speak to that.
Okay.
But every one of these meetings is a public meeting.
No, I understand that,
Yeah.
But, you know, those drew a lot of people last year, when we did it with the selectmen. I thought that,
I don't think that that was as productive as we had hoped.
no, I would agree.
And, so I have no appetite at all to repeat that.
No.
And we just don't have the bandwidth to do that.
Alright.
So maybe.
That was my
this is-
question, I just. didn't
Yeah,
know
this
if
is a
was the beginning
preemptive
of
strike.
another
maybe.
round of that.
I hope.
Just a
Teddy,
point of information, our school, committee team from here is meeting with, the planman and the business manager next Wednesday at 1 o'clock,
oh, good, okay.
just to get a kind of a big picture from them. For the
Is that your first meeting with them?
fall, yeah.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
I didn't mean joke as it
meetings,
was jokey, you know what I mean? It seems to be, we seem to be doing it in bites that are maybe not in sequence, but I understand that you're not driving those
But
requests.
it may help the select board get, again, an understanding of a checkpoint, where we are in the budget cycle, what's anticipated, how much we've completed to date, kind of a thing, to give them a kind of a moment in time, right, in order to.
I guess
I'm educated as well as everybody else, right, on the same page.
I was misunderstanding, because I was thinking from what they had said, it was a directional meeting, you know, their priorities, where, you know, that type of thing, so I would assume that's done.
We did that, right?
Yeah.
So remember, we had meetings in May
No,
and June,
Yep, right.
July, August.
I'll be interested to see what it is on the 20, all will be made clear on the 27th.
At 6:30.
Yes.
Here or there?
In the Ellison.
Here, yeah,
Downstairs.
yeah.
There's an
It's Zoom
executive session beforehand, so I think the executive session is at 6, and I think the meeting is scheduled for 6:30.
Okay,
We'll send the agenda out to you
Okay,
guys.
great, thank you.
Sure.
that'd be great.
Thank you.
That'd be
Is
great.
there any, public feel from the select board? I mean, I think if we're gonna pass a budget, we're looking at an override, yeah, and how to sell it. And where do we stand, or if we do, on support by the select board for an override?
Good question.
I was very clumsily trying to get to that. Thank you. Ted.
Oh, I guess you could bring it up Monday.
You would be really popular.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that's all right.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for the select. board.
no, you can't, yeah,
No, I was just wondering if there's any public
no,
gouge on that.
No. Stay tuned, Ted.
see you Monday.
Our schedule for the next week or two is, we have a meeting next Tuesday, but not Thursday.
That's correct.
That's what the calendar, I believe, says.
Where are we?
That's it.
That is correct, yeah. There is no meeting on the 30th.
Right.
I have to give you guys a heads up, and this is just a housekeeping matter. So I met with, DPW and, when we put together the departments and grouped them on who was coming which night, I inadvertently, I guess I didn't realize this, on, DPW is coming over the course of 2 nights because they have so many budgets.
Yep.
And there was one department head who unfortunately I split their departments and needs to make them come on both nights. So.
Everybody likes that.
Yeah, not exactly, so, I have to do a little housekeeping, so
Sure.
if we can look at that and then just update those agendas, because I know you did a great job of pre-posting them.
Yes.
So I just need to make that one change. I have a reminder popping up constantly on my phone to do that.
So that's the,
I'll look at the list with you, but just want to give you guys a heads up.
yeah, definitely.
No worries.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
there's one a week for the next couple of weeks. The next week after that is the 11th, and there's no meetings on the 11th, Tuesday.
Fourth and
Because
sixth
it's a
of
holiday.
4th and 6th of November,
Yes.
Linda, 4th and 6th, okay, thank you.
Next week, Tuesday, the following week, Tuesday, Thursday,
Yeah, that's right.
and then the week after that is
Just one.
Thursday,
Gosh almighty, look at,
and then 18/20.
It is flying by.
Yeah, no kidding, I could say that again.
And we probably won't meet on Thanksgiving.
All right, well,
Oh, maybe.
huh? In autumn,
We don't meet on Thanksgiving.
we're not meeting on Thanksgiving, no,
Okay.
no. That would not be, no. Anything that
We
we're
could
gonna
be.
do, but we do have a meeting that week,
Know it.
Yeah,
yeah.
we all fall
Wait,
asleep.
Tuesday, yeah, we do.
We do have a meeting on that Tuesday,
Yeah.
so stay tuned, film at 11. All right, so we'll see you on Tuesday,
Yeah.
or if, maybe Monday,
Motion to adjourn.
Okay,
which is, so we will have 2 meetings anyway, if we go to the select board meeting, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be up in Maine on Monday, so you'll have to ask the board.
I will ask.
You can
the board. Thank you.
Nicely done,
Thank you.
Jen.
Boom, there's the ball, right over the net. Thank you, Jenny.
Motion to adjourn?
Give it to you. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah,
Hey.
Aye. Thanks, Mark.